I don't know how the fishing's going to be, but it sure is a pretty morning. Hey guys, this is Tim on the Fly, and we're down here at one of my favorite spillways. It's an early September morning, and I've been kind of having to avoid some of the rockier areas like this all summer because I've been struggling with some knee issues. You might have noticed that a lot of my videos have been on the ponds. Haven't really done much else other than that because I had to stick to where I could fish easily. But the knee's feeling a little better, so I thought I'd give this a try today since the access is a little bit on the easy side. There's some gravelly areas where if the knee starts to bother, I can get off the rocks. And really, I just wanted to get somewhere different, somewhere I hadn't been for a while, and not real sure how the fishing's going to be this morning. There's not much flow going on, but honestly, it's just good to be out. It's a little cool this morning. We've been coming off some really hot weather, but right now it's 52 degrees. There's some mist coming up off the water, and not sure what that's going to mean, but hopefully it means there'll be some active fish this morning. It's going to be an hour or two before the sun really gets on the water, thanks to the trees and everything we have shading this. So I'm not going to waste any of that time. Going to get out on the water, get fishing, and come along with me, and hopefully we do pretty good. Okay, so we're going to start out this morning with this little black mini leech, just a little marabou and a little flash and a bead head, and I'm going to start tossing it up in these riffles here because that's going to be the most oxygenated water. It's going to be the most likely place for fish to be laying in here, and it's always fun to kind of fish the riffles. But let's, without saying too much more than that, let's just go ahead and see what's going to happen. We'll move out from here. If the riffles don't work, we'll move out into the main body of the spillway. But some of my best fish have always come out of these riffles, so I always like to start here. And I'm starting with a really lightly weighted fly so that we don't get in too much trouble with the rocks, because it's not very deep in there. I mean, literally we're talking a few inches, less than a foot. However, for some reason, fish do seem to like to lay up in there. I think it's because of the higher oxygen in the water. The little fish get up there, the big fish come up hunting them. Alrighty, well, that happened off camera because I'd pretty much given up, but here we go. We got ourselves a little bass finally. Been here for about an hour, and finally got something to show for it. Cute little guy. And he just romped on that thing just right at my feet as I was taking the fly out of the water for the next cast. And here I've been casting out into the open water all this time. But I guess we'll take what we can get, and one fish is better than none. Especially since it's starting to look an awful lot like he might be it. But it gives me hope. And so we'll keep on trying it for a little while yet anyway. I think we are going to go ahead and change up tackle though. And oh, I just saw something splash up there. So yes, going to change up tackle and go for something a little smaller. I think we're going to focus on those littler fish maybe. And the bigger fish in here have always been ready to take the smaller flies, so that's not going to hurt our chances for them either. So, do a little re-rigging here and hopefully be back with more fish. Okay, so we're changing up tactics a little bit. I got that one bass a few minutes ago on the streamer, but that was the only hit I'd had the whole time. So we're going to go back to this little nymph. This is kind of a confidence fly for me in here on littler fish, crappie, little white bass, things like that. But bigger fish have hit it. Caught quite a few stuff on it in here, and I'm just going to work my way up through this little current seam here. I've seen a few fish splashing a little further up it. They didn't look like they were very big, but at this point I'll take anything. And we'll see how this works. It's a little later in the day. We've been down here for about just not quite 2 hours. And I've had just the one bite, just the one little bass. But it's been a beautiful day to be out. And we're going to start just by letting this nymph fall through this current seam. We're going to start at the very tail of it and work our way up so we don't spook anything out. And I'm going to start out by just letting it tumble through there, but if we get to the point where we can't keep it out of the rocks, we'll drop it under an indicator and let it boil through there and see what happens. I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the bottom end of this riffle right now, but I have had the experience of casting straight up into the head of it and have my line spook out a whole bunch of nice fish. So we're going to cover this and make sure there's not anything hanging down here first. We're just going to work our way up, cast, make a few casts through, just make sure that we've got it covered, and then take a few steps up, work through it again, take a few steps. Alrighty, finally got into something else. Had to move above the riffle. Oh, it looks like we got ourselves a crappie. Nice crappie too. So 2-fish day, come that close to letting himself loose. Got ourselves a 2-fish day going now. Nice little crappie. Put him back. And swim away. Wound up going above the riffle here. And just kind of working right down along the edge where he took. Hopefully he's not a lone ranger like the bass turned out to be. Finally, went ahead and put the indicator rig on and got a hit up in that. I'd been seeing these guys spooking out. Looks like I got myself a buffalo here. He's not fighting very hard, but we're gonna net him. So, last time I approached that, it was off camera by the time I had just turned off the camera, but I went in there with the nymph. I went in with the nymph and cast it up in there and snagged. And when I did, when I pulled on it to try to get it out, I spooked out a whole bunch of these guys. So I went up and I ate an apple and kind of let it rest. And then I put on an indicator rig, hoping that maybe I could get a fly down through there without snagging up and without spooking them. And sure enough, I did. And this guy happened. Let's see. Oh, he's not quite ready to go in the net. Good sized fish, though. See if we can't swing him around here one more time. Get him to lay up in the net. There we go. All right. A nice good sized buffalo. That was worth hanging around for. One bass, one crappie, and one of these. It's not a bad day at all. Let's see if we can get him unhooked and back in the water. He's just barely got the fly in there. There we go. We can get a good picture of him in the net there. Nice, good sized fish. There we go. That made it worth it. That was worth it. Like I said, took 3 passes up through there. All 3 times I tried that this morning, I wound up spooking them out. And this 3rd time I put the indicator on, went into stealth mode, and on about the 3rd or 4th cast, finally got one of them to take it. Okay, well, I was relatively certain that I had spooked everything out of that hole that was possibly in there with that last fish. But I thought, what the heck, I'll take another cast in there. And here we go, we're on again. I think this might be another buffalo. Haven't seen him yet. Sure enough. Another big old buffalo. This guy I don't think is going to come in quite as easy as the last one did. Turn the camera off because I figured there was no way on earth there'd be another fish in there after that. But evidently there was. He's not making any big runs. He's just kind of fighting right here, so we're just going to let him wear himself out a little bit. Let him wear himself. Oh, there he goes. Now he's decided to run. A little more of a cold water fish, so while the water's still warm like this, they're a little on the sluggish side, but they are still powerful. He's not as big as the other one was, but he's not a small guy either. These are just the coolest fish in the world. They're natives. A lot of people think they're a type of carp and that they're an invasive like the carp are, but they're not. They actually live here. They live forever. A big bigmouth buffalo can be upwards of 100 years old. They're just a really fun fish. They're a neat fish. At some point I'd kind of like to do an episode just on them. I think he might be ready to come to the net now. You ready, buddy? There we go. There we go. And we got him. Dude, settle down. Chilly down. Another nice sized one. I didn't see where he was hooked. So get his head out here to find the... Oh, I think it's already come out. Yep, came out in the net. So we will just get him and lay him right down in the water and let him go. Nudge out, buddy. There he goes. Not a whole lot left of my little nymph after those two. But there we go. I'm thinking the odds of that happening a 3rd time are astronomical. But I'll leave the camera on and we'll give it one more go in here. I've got this set real shallow. It's only set maybe a little more than a foot. And I'm just lobbing it right up in that current seam and letting it bubble down through. And neither one of those fish took it hard. It looked, the indicator almost looked like it had just bumped a rock. And we're on again. This one's acting a lot different. Oh, got ourselves a little channel cat. So this is suddenly turning into a multi-species day, and it looks like things are picking up as we go, as the sun gets up. Kind of wish I had a little more time to be down here now, but I can only fish until about noon, and then I have to head home and get you back in the water. And that did work. All I did was drop the indicator down just a little bit on that and start working the outside edge of this this current seam out here. I might have to drop it a little bit further for it to get really good. That was something. And all of a sudden, after catching that bass and thinking that he was going to be the only thing I saw today, we're up to 4 species. Alright, so that's going to just about wrap it up for another trip to the water with Tim on the Fly. And kind of an odd day. Started out real slow. I think I kind of outsmarted myself by getting out here so early. I think with the cooler weather I should have waited, maybe slept in for an hour or two, done a little around the house, and then come out once the sun was on the water, because that's when things really kind of started to pick up, if you can call it picking up. Never did get really good, but you won't hear me complain. Got 5 species altogether, because I did pick up one bluegill that I didn't get on camera. But you saw the bass, you saw the crappie, you saw those 2 nice buffalo, and the little channel cat. So, you know, if you're not going to catch very many, you might as well catch variety. And it's always a good day. I mean, even when the catching's not good, the fishing's excellent. I've never had a bad day of fishing, even though I've had some super lousy days of catching. But like I said, got rid of a morning, had fun, beautiful day, absolutely gorgeous day. Glad you guys could tag along and join us. And like I said, that's it for today. So good luck, good fishing, and we'll see you in the next one. Tight lines.